because from precautions to fear, it is a very slippery slope. Fear. It's a very tricky feeling. It can turn an unknown enemy into a monster that feeds off of negative biased attitudes or actions. Eventually, this monster could grow to, for example, manipulate a nation's entire justice system to target a specific group of people based solely on ethnicity and cultural backgrounds. Let me give you a better-known example. Let's take a quick trip back to December 7th, 1941. It was a peaceful Sunday morning. The bright sun was shining over the blue skies of Hawaii, when, out of nowhere, a small group of Japanese fighter pilots zoomed overhead, beginning the attack on Pearl Harbor and launching the US into World War II. Now, we all remember this tragic part of our American history all too well. However, we also recall how our proud nation came back in the face of such horror by winning the war together as Americans. Or did we? There is a part of this story that is often left untold when we tell of our courageous comeback from Pearl Harbor, and that is how the government dealt with the collective anxiety of possible enemy intrusion on American soil. As panic grew, fear soon overtook the people. The government tried to find a quick solution, and they certainly did when they enacted the executive order that placed any person living in America of Japanese descent, yes, even US citizens, in internment camps, conveniently called entrapment places, because anyone with Japanese physical features can be a potential terrorist. Anyone living in America could be a potential terrorist. Surprisingly, Americans were silent and condescending about the matter, ignoring it out of fear and allowing the government to take complete control without confronting or challenging the situation. They believed that they had to take this lying down. Everyone except one. He knew that his rights were just as important as everyone else's. And he believed that he had to speak up for those who couldn't. His name was Fred Korematsu, a humble Japanese-American US citizen who had the determination and courage to stand up against the American judicial system by challenging the executive order and taking his case all the way to the Supreme Court. After 40 years and countless rejections, his ruling was finally overturned, and he brought justice to millions of American citizens living in the internment camps. The Japanese internment camp incident was just an example that taught us how quickly fear that we are not ready to face can turn into a necessary precautionary measurement, where the law is used as a weapon against us and our values. We believe that being cautious means to eradicate anything that we perceive as a threat, and that the end justifies the means. Then we believe that other people, full of biased and very dangerous egos, are better suited to defend us, just as long as they promise that the threat will be gone. We need to fight back and not stay quiet about prejudice and discrimination. If we don't, then we have only ourselves to blame. As Fred Korematsu once said, if you believe something is wrong, don't be afraid to speak up about it. Only in this way can we shake the vice grip that fear has on us and finally prevent the slippery slope of our past precautions. Thank you.